Immigration in and of itself, non-Americans being here in and of itself, is not the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is the amount of people.
Sheer volume
Of people that are here that don't need to be here.
Ethan and Jason. Now this is podcasting.
We're live.
But barely alive.
We are live, but barely alive. I've never been sicker in my life. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice. It keeps getting worse. You hear that? It keeps getting worse. Was I complaining about how sick I was last week?
I don't know. It may have been about just lack of sleep.
Yeah. It's now I'm just full blown in the middle of the
I think
plague.
we start every episode off by complaining about how ill you feel.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been I have felt unwell for like a month, which I guess pretty much exactly coincides with the birth of my newest daughter, which would make a lot of sense.
That would do it.
That'll do it. But she's starting to smile at you.
Oh,
and that makes it all worth it.
That is super sweet.
I'll take straight up cancer.
Yeah.
To see that face.
Yeah.
She reach up and grab my beard and smile at me. Dude.
That's adorable.
Yeah, man. That'll get you.
Super sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's fun to go through what I've gone through with my oldest now, and then to have the moment of like, dude, we're going to do this all again with her. Like I'm going to get to meet her, you know? Like she's going to develop her own personality that's totally separate from Abigail, and like go through all those same exciting, everything is new, everything is it's gonna be sick. I'm excited. It's different but very cool. What's going on with you, Jason? What do you got going on?
Oh, I don't know.
Just great podcasting. I don't know.
No, my 2-year-old, I was just thinking about this the other day.
Yeah.
One of the positions I love most, and the image of holding the child.
Yes.
And them being like either completely snuggled into you or like limp.
Yep.
Basically like the limp head into your shoulder.
Yeah.
In this area of your neck where you can just lean your head over on them.
Yes.
And where they're just like their arms are draped around you.
Yep.
Best feeling in the world.
Yes.
There's one children's book. I can't quite even remember the name of it, but it's anthropomorphized like rabbit characters.
Uh-huh.
And the mama bunny is holding like the toddler bunny in that exact position, and whoever the artist is captured it perfectly, because that's what I picture whenever one of my kids
just
is
totally
like that.
limp.
Yeah, just ugh.
Yeah, that's the best. Yeah,
the total dependence and love they have on you.
I remember sorry guys, I'm gonna try not to do that too much, but the rocking my first daughter to sleep, and knowing of like being like, I have to cherish this moment.
Yeah, it's
fleeting, and there's so much beauty to be had as your child grows, you know, because as my daughter used to, every time she used to talk for months, she would go right before every sentence. And she started doing this thing where she would breathe in while she was doing it. So she'd take a big deep breath to talk. So she'd go and then say whatever she was going to say.
That's so funny.
So funny. But she doesn't do it anymore. But there's so many other new things that she's like, now she stands up and sings Annie songs all the time.
Yeah.
It's gray and lonely, and she'll with her arms out, And so there's just like the person that you fell in love with fades, and that's tragic and heartbreaking. And at time, I think that's probably the hardest thing for me as being a parent, has had to watch the person you fell in love with, go away, but the person that replaces them is so much more dynamic and deeper, and there's so many more elements about them to love that the trade-off is like beautiful. It's like this beautiful poetry for Christ's, our own salvation, like you have to let parts of yourself die as you become more Christ-like, but the person that you gain is so much more free and peaceful and dynamic than the person that you were previous. It's very scary while it's happening, Yeah. There was a big time in my life where I was very, very concerned about losing my own independence, like ceasing to exist, because I became so Christ-like, like in the afterlife or even here through my own salvation. The things that I was clinging to, they're like, no, this is me. This is Ethan. Ethan's separate from Christ, from God. I'm not God. I want to be my own little thing. Yeah. Like I was that really. I
want to be independent.
Yeah, I want to be independent. I want to be my own. I want to have my own identity. And that.
That's the individualism run amok that we have in the West.
Yeah. And it was a deeply troubling aspect of my sanctification, was having to let go of that. But once I did let go of that, I found deeper, more complex, far more individual pieces of myself through that salvation. Like I feel way more unique now than I ever did.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see those little motifs of the human condition be kind of played out, echoed over and over again throughout God's design. Is very interesting.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Wild.
I don't know if you meant it this way, but that kind of plays into
It does.
being part of a... Did you mean to do that?
No. But okay. I was thinking that as I was talking, I was saying
like, this plays into being
part of a broader thing. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about racism. No. Today we're going to talk about... Today we're going to talk...
Though it may be interpreted that way.
It may be interpreted that way, but and that's probably because partly, at least me personally, I know Jason doesn't, but partly I do mean it that way. So it is going to be kind of interpreted that way, and that's fine. I'll let that be. I know my lot in life at this point. But today we are going to talk about what it means to be a member of a nation, what it means to be a citizen. What basically the way we're going to address this or talk about this issue is, what is an American exactly?
Yeah. This will be a good episode to come back and reference for anything we say in the future, or this will probably clarify a lot of things that have been said in the past.
Yeah.
That didn't have the full context, possibly.
Yeah.
So I can see us maybe referring back to this one if someone has a complaint later on or listens to some old episodes. We'll say, go listen to episode 92.
Yeah.
The one about citizenship and nations.
Yeah. So I think the way that I would like to couch this is that why is it important who's an American and who's not? I think reality is not static. People are not static, as we've just said. Through the process of sanctification, people change drastically, radically.
And even those not going through sanctification are going through life changes.
Yeah.
Age, their bodies age, they gain more experience, they have trauma, they have gain and loss of wealth, whatever it is.
Yeah, so on a micro scale, people change. On a macro scale, things change, generations come and go, markets change drastically. The world is not a static place, it's a dynamic place. Also, just real quick caveat here, I've been saying that the author of The Fourth Turning is Leo Strauss.
Okay.
Or Leo, whatever I've been saying. It's William, not Leo.
Okay.
Leo is a Zionist. He's a bad guy.
Whoopsies.
So, yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
It's William.
We're not referencing the Zionist.
I'm not referencing the evil Jew from the... Yeah. That's not what I'm doing.
So
But-
William Strauss, author
I think
of
his
the
last name
fourth-
is now I can't remember his last name. So
I'll just look it up while
okay,
you
thank you.
keep on
look it up.
talking, and don't be distracted by me on my phone.
Yeah. So what is an American? Why is that important? Because the world is a dynamic place, and change has to occur to survive. You can't have a culture frozen in place for all time because it will be eaten up by whatever culture has adapted to and is integrated the newest technologies, the newest conveniences, the newest military weapons, the newest manufacturing techniques, the newest whatever. So you have to change, right? You can't not change.
Right.
What's his last name?
It is Strauss.
It is
so
Strauss,
It's William Strauss and Neil Howe,
Okay,
who
there
wrote
you
the
go.
fourth Tyrants.
There you go, okay.
Dual authorship, it looks like.
Yeah, so glad we've clarified that.
You heard it here second.
You heard it here second. Yeah. So things have to change. So you can't just freeze a culture in time forever, right? You can't just have.
No, and I'm listening to I'm still listening through it, but there's a podcast called The History of Rome.
Okay.
And he takes it from like the tribal origins.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of cast-offs, and it's kind of almost Australian-like. It was a bunch of people who were rejected from every other debtors and criminals and whatnot. That's the foundation of Rome, tribalism of the worst people, and they founded this city, and then eventually took over most of the known world for a period of time. But the amount of, and I mean the Roman Empire, not the empire, but the Roman, I don't want to say empire because it wasn't always an empire, but the Roman civilization, I guess we'll say, went through so many changes in government structure.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They would invent new, and gradually, this is like over hundreds of years. So even in the American context, we're still very early in American history.
Yeah.
Even though, as an American, you don't always think that way because you're like, well, I'm American. It's a big nation. We're a big, powerful nation. But like, it'll be very interesting to see 1,000 years from now, what does the United States look like? Is it the United States? Has it been completely restructured? Has it been fractured? Has it taken over more of the world? What is it going to be?
Yeah.
Will it look like the republic that we have now at all, the Democratic Republic, or not?
Yeah.
Or constitutional republic?
Well,
I'm not great with all these terms, just so you know. So,
yeah. America hasn't been a constitutional republic in a long time. Okay. So we've already changed to it. We are a democratic socialist state. That's what we are.
Okay.
By definition. The republic side of things has completely been left behind. But
are you saying it's been left behind because of the bureaucracy that runs a lot of things?
Your bureaucracy, the lack of market freedoms. Like America is still the freest market in the world. It's just not a free market.
Right. Okay.
It's the freest market.
Just on the scale of things.
Yeah. Just relative to every other market, it's very free.
But there's a high amount of control.
Yeah. What America once was is very different from what it is today.
What with laws and subsidies and
mostly with the reserve banking.
Okay.
But yes, laws and subsidies and government price fixing and stuff like that.
Right.
Taxes, all that kind of stuff.
Some of the origins in that are from Rome too. They talk about like when they first introduced, there was like grain prices or something were skyrocketing. I can't even tell you what year, but this is in the low BCs.
Yeah.
Like the last 200 BC or something like that. And the first, I don't remember his title either because they have so many different titles for rulers, and for a long time there were 2 consuls elected for 1 year at a time, and you could only serve 1 year consecutively. You couldn't re-elect, but then they just were like, well, the people want it, so I'm going to be consul a second time, and I'm going to have my other consul, assassinated. So there's crazy stuff that happens.
Yeah.
They would have a couple hundred years where things were pretty stable governmentally, and then one rogue guy would come in who was extremely popular with the people and change things over. So, do you see shadows?
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So it lends a lot of...
History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme.
It sure does rhyme.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when things get too sticky and the people aren't happy, things do rumble and shift and change because people don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
And
so
the people can only be ignored for so long before it bubbles over.
Yeah, you can only hold back a river
for so long. Yeah, before enough people get discontent and are willing to risk their lives literally to change it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's an important question. What is an American? we're trying to answer that right now. I think that was obvious to people earlier in American history. Now it's not. And so America is struggling to find an identity. American citizens are struggling to find an identity. There's obviously a problem with immigration, and nobody really has a clear-cut answer, or nobody popular.
I don't know if either side is really happy with the way immigration is currently.
Right.
Because it's in a place of change.
Right.
Everyone would like to see it reformed in some way, one direction or the other.
Right. Yeah, and you have
either wider, way open, or way titrated down.
Right. Yeah, you have people on our side that are extremely, much further right than you and I are, who just get rid of all non-whites. And then you have people on the left.
I don't know if I even like to see them as right, but I guess on the spectrum of things, if you're
that's funny. That's another thing. That's another rabbit hole. But yeah, I mean, you talk about like left or right.
Yeah.
The spectrum until Trump was elected, it was the one that they talked about, at least that they paid lip service to, was left was big government, right was small government. That was never true. At least not in the modern era, but it was one that they held to, at least. And now we've just completely abandoned that. And it's big government on both sides, but what does the government do?
Defining what its duty is.
Yeah.
And where it ends.
Yeah, where it ends, yeah. And so I think the reason why, ultimately the reason why deciding the national identity is important is because you can then from there work out a level of change that's appropriate, because if you stay stagnant, you starve, right? I've already talked about this. You get eaten alive, you just stay stagnant. But if you change too much, if your mind is too open, your brain falls out,
Yeah.
Like if you change too much, you just become atomized and completely fractured like we are today.
Right, because we went through such rapid progressive change in the last 10 years.
And we've had such massive amounts of immigration, both illegal and legal immigration, that it's just the idea of
a cohesive nation state is kind of silly.
And
there
being like an ethnic group at the middle of it is extremely divisive.
Yeah, very divisive.
Yeah, and so I think, and then one of the things also that's very important about deciding who Americans are, we've mentioned this in the past, but long ago, is that the from a practical standpoint, I don't take like an ethnic superiority stance on who should be the kind of considered the core ethnic group of any given nation. I think every ethnic group has a right to have its own nation and conduct themselves as they see fit.
Sure.
But one of the reasons why, and not just America.
Your argument is rather that there needs to be a central ethnic
nation
and moral nation that dictates the ethics and the laws.
Right. There needs to, so that everyone understands the rules to play by.
Sure.
Like we can say, let's just to remove the political spite and the friction of talking about America. Let's just say it's Japan.
Okay.
You need to have what is a Japanese person identified so that the Japanese people can decide what the rules are, so that anybody who's there understands the rules.
Right.
Right now, we have not identified a central American. We don't know what an American is.
Yeah, it's very obvious in Germany. It's very obvious in Sweden.
Right.
It's very obvious in Uganda.
Right.
Like what the ruling class
Nigerians are the ones,
and not superior class, just the ruling class, the one who originated the place, or at least holds power this time. And obviously it gets messy with if that changes hands, but we'll just say maybe who built the foundation of that country.
Right. Yeah. And if you don't, my point is that it's cruel to Mexican immigrants to come here and not have a ruling class, a ruling ethnic group, because now Mexicans don't know what rules to play by. So they just play by their rules, and then they piss off everyone else around them who does not share their culture, and now there's friction. So now Mexicans get discriminated against or whatever. Now it's not fair to Mexicans. If Mexicans got to come here and go, all right, this is how white people conduct themselves, whites and black. That's my argument, is that the Central American ethnic group is whites and blacks.
Because whites originated the country, and because blacks have been here for so long.
Yes,
granted,
they've been here for so long, but also the core of my argument is that they were brought here against their will.
Yeah.
And so they have no say in being here. They were brought here by Jews and whites, and Jews, whites, and their countrymen who kidnapped them,
sold them into slavery.
Kidnapped them and sold them into slavery.
Rival tribes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The blacks that are here are, generally speaking, the descendants of victims of the slave trade.
Right.
And so to charge them as non-Americans would be quite hypocritical, and it's
because they were made citizens.
They were forced to be here.
Yeah. They have no home to go to.
Yeah.
They didn't immigrate here.
Stolen from them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so for better or for worse, we are American whites and American blacks are now bound together. And we have to accept that and move forward.
And obviously that's still playing out with a lot of friction and conflict in some ways.
Right. Yeah.
But it's undeniable that blacks have played a huge part in the cultural development of America.
Yes.
In culture such as like music, food, and whatever else.
Yeah. Yeah. And there have been significant members of the black population who've contributed in great ways to America.
Yeah. Thomas Sowell.
Yeah, Thomas Sowell, not the least of them.
Is it George Washington Carver?
I don't know. I'm not an expert on black guys.
Well, now I'm just going to double check that to make sure I'm not being an idiot.
Okay. But yeah, so the core of my argument is that what is an American? An American is a white person or a black person whose family has been here for a long time, whether by choice or force.
Yeah, George Washington Carver, an African-American botanist and inventor in the early 20th century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone else, my argument is that everyone else isn't an American. I think that you can purchase your nationality with commitment and with blood. So I've heard like Joel Webbin say that if you are you've been here for 3 generations, that's enough. I don't know. 3 generations sounds a little short to me. It certainly meets my parameter of like the person who immigrated here has to be dead, and the people.
Why don't you flesh that out a bit then? Why does the person who immigrated here have to be dead?
The identity that was brought here by that person, by that Italian who immigrated here, has to be mostly forgotten. So,
and it can't be forgotten with a 35-year-old who moves here with their family.
Right. It's unfair to expect them to forget who they are and where they came from.
Sure.
It's cruel to demand that they do that.
That they erase the first whoever knows how many decades of their life.
Right. Their ties to their homeland.
Yeah.
And again, it's this is about change. It would be it is cruel to expect them to change that rapidly. Just like it's cruel to expect the American population to change rapidly to adjust to
influx that happens to come our way.
This rapid change must occur, right? It has to adapt.
But it has to be done gradually for people not to explode over it.
Right. And there's something actually, you know what? Here, I'll do this. I'll read you something. Give me a second. Let me see if I can pull this up quickly.
Yeah, so that first generation who made the commitment to move to a country, if there is if there are very clear expectations set by the host country, whatever the country is, forget about America, but if that country says you may move here as long as you have this degree or this to offer the country, or you're willing to get rid of your other citizenship or whatever, and you will have a visa, or you will have citizenship after 10 years, or after going through these classes, or after learning the native language and using that primarily, whatever parameters are set, that first generation moves there, does their best to do that, and also does not try deliberately to shelter their children that they have in that new country as still being part of the old culture.
Right.
And bringing over their old values with them because they deliberately left those behind. So it would be dishonest for anyone to move to a new country. If an American moved to Japan and said, I'm going to Americanize Japan and Japanese culture, I am not going to
assimilate.
I'm going to refuse to learn Japanese. I'm going to teach my children English alone, and I will do everything that's not mandated to me. Everything that I'm not mandated to do, I will avoid doing to try to preserve my home country's heritage here, as opposed to saying, there's a good reason I left the home country. Why am I trying to recreate that here?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one of the things that's also very important is that if people know that coming here, whether for economic advantage or whatever, if they know I will never be an American citizen, my children may not ever be American citizens, but maybe my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren will have the hope of being full-fledged voting Americans that are integrated into the society and have just as much hope. You filter out for people who have short time frames, who can't think in the long term.
You filter out the one marshmallow kids.
Right, exactly. And you get people who are capable of thinking multi-generationally and thinking about the future of their progeny.
What you want for a country is people who do look to their grandchildren's goods,
right,
and not to their immediate benefit.
Right, because by doing that, they have to then also consider the wellness of the country as a whole. Because if the country goes into the toilet, then their great-grandchildren are going to be living in a toilet country.
Yeah.
And that's not good for them.
If they only view the host country as like a host,
right,
and they're a parasite and they're going to suck as much blood as they can, get fat, and die happy, what are we accomplishing? They're going to bleed, enough of those parasites come in, and they'll bleed the country dry of its
and for the record, that is Jason calling immigrants parasites. I just want to make that very...
certain kinds.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Listen,
no, there are parasites in the world, and since we are a big fat host right now, America is a desirable place to live in relation to. So for anyone who wants to get in the particulars of America's this or that, kick rocks, because there's still people moving here in droves.
Yeah.
So it's clearly one of, if not the most desirable countries to live in, at least on paper.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you will have opportunistic parasite people moving here who just want to siphon the wealth off and either send it back home to their poorer family members, which I don't, on a sympathetic level, I understand why.
Right.
Why wouldn't, in some ways, I respect the provisionary outlook for those people. They can get across the border and their family is in terrible straits and they're just trying to make money.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to survive day to day and they're sending money back. I don't begrudge them that feeling and that sentiment. I'd probably do very much the same thing in their shoes. When you're desperate, you're going to do desperate things, and you're not looking to multi-generational living because your kids aren't even here.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly.
And so it might not to be even to be make themselves rich. It might just be a survival thing for a lot of those people trying to send money back to make sure that their children, they're making a big sacrifice by not being with their families.
Yeah.
So it's a sad
reality. And part of this is that we're like, I think when I was young, when I was like 5 or 6, now I was a little bit older, maybe 8, we were in Arkansas in the Ozarks, and we were driving through these very isolated, tiny little towns, if you could even call them that. They're just like huddles of trailers and stuff like that. Like maybe there's a gas station. And the thought I had, and I think this is like the genesis of my I was an ANCAP for a long time. Chaos is the only thing that's fair. And I've stayed very conservative throughout my entire life. And this is kind of the genesis of that, which I was sitting there thinking, if these people have a heart attack, how do they survive? Like that, you can't get a hospital.
They're so far out of the way.
So far away.
There's not an ambulance within 2 hours of this place.
Yeah, and so as we were driving down a little bit more, I had this like sinking realization. I was like, oh, they just die. Like they don't get medical attention.
Yeah.
And I just had to reconcile with the reality of that situation. Like, if you want to live in a place where you can get medical attention, you have to live close to the medical attention.
Yeah.
And the medical attention, we just can't get it to you.
Yeah. You can't have major hospitals every 30 minutes.
Yeah, you can't.
It's
You
untenable.
can't have an urgent care every 30 minutes
Because you have to have the population to even support and staff that place.
Yeah, to staff it, you have to.
And
have
let alone
resources to
make
get
it
electricity
financially
to it.
viable.
Yeah, make it financially viable.
Have enough people to support it.
Yeah, and you might have some sort of communist argument against that or whatever, but I would suggest to you that you can go watch. I hate to make this recommendation because PragerU sucks, but they made one really good video, PragerU's video about the communists trying to build trains versus a capitalist trying to build trains. Just go watch that video. That explains how resources work pretty well. It's not infinite. You can't just materialize things. So you have to figure out some way to get them up there. And that made me realize that the world is a dark place, full of sin, and not I was probably not thinking in those terms, but full of pain and suffering, and that's the rule. And surviving a medical crisis is the exception. The rule is you're dead.
Yeah.
The
or
rule
maimed for life.
Yeah, or maimed for life. Yeah, the rule is that you broke your leg on the farm, and that's just
And
it for you.
it's not going to heal straight.
Yeah, no. At best, you're getting a limp. And that's been the rule, and that is the rule. The exception is that it gets set and everything goes nice, whatever. And so it is sad. I think that's part of the reason that people on the left have a hard time is because it's sad to think that there are poor people in the world who live in huts and eat dirt. But that's the reality of the situation. And trying to open up, I saw a guy giving a presentation, and he had a bunch of ping pong balls, and these glass cylinders, big glass cups, and one of them was huge and almost full, and the other one was very small and almost full, or halfway full.
Okay.
And the small one was America, and the big one was the third world.
Okay.
And he was saying, if we took everyone from the third world we could fit in here and put them in America, there would still be, like, physically, if we went full communist, gave everybody a little box, and we covered the whole country in New York style slum cities, but in like Brazil favela slum cities.
Okay.
And we got another billion people in this bitch.
Packed them in like sardines.
Yeah, packed them in like sardines, and we gave everybody $10, which is more money than they've ever had. We would still not have enough money to do that, first of all, but also there'd be 8.5 billion other people left on the planet.
Yeah.
It's not even a dent. To help you kind of start to think about this, if the current population of the U.S. is somewhere between 350 and 450 million people. If we more than doubled the population and brought 500 million Indians here so that they could be in America, first of all, it would almost instantly just become India, but with Appalachia. That's it. That's the only difference. We'd have waters full of trash, poop everywhere. But, so if we brought them all here and somehow just kept it America, so they just got to be here as Americans and things were great for them.
Sure.
There would still be 500 million Indians in India.
Because that's half their population?
It's half their population.
Okay,
There's
so
a
they have
billion Indians.
Okay. Yeah, so doubling our population would only half one country.
Yeah.
One third world country.
Right. And then we're tapped out. That's it. We're done. Now we're at 1.5 billion or we're at 1 billion people here.
And instead of actually elevating them to a better style of living,
we just get de-elevated. Yeah,
we watered down.
I said de-elevated.
De-elevated? Delevated.
We get delevated.
Yeah. You've watered down all the wealth so that everybody is now poor.
Everyone's
and
poor.
lives in a trash pit.
Yeah. So we've saved no one and made things worse for 450 million people.
And now we are not in a position to help even a few, really.
Right. Which is the exact point. And that's the choice you have to make. That's the reality of the situation. The choice you have to make is to be able to actually help a few
That's
or
one
help
marshmallow.
no one.
One marshmallow thinking is we'll just pack America full because we have to help everyone we can.
Right. Right. So we can
and
either
in
help a
helping
few.
everybody you quote unquote can help by if you take it to the extreme,
Yeah.
and I don't know if anyone's really advocating for that. I guess there's people who haven't thought about it.
I mean, the radical left has their, borders.
Yeah, the wide open borders thing.
Yeah.
So it would become that eventually. Take some time for
Yeah,
them to filter
and that
in,
is what that is what the main, like the party they're losing power, but the globalist faction of the world that wants power.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they want. They want a European Union for the entire planet.
Sure.
So they want these cogs that are just everyone's poor. Everyone's very poor, and is willing to labor desperately for almost no money.
Because then they're able to siphon that wealth, all that manpower off for themselves, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
because they don't care. They're at the top, and they still get to live like kings.
Right. They can keep everybody off all the nice beaches because they'll just pay. They'll
have security.
Yeah, they'll use drones or they'll pay whatever
Yeah.
people double the tiny monthly stipend. So all the guards get paid double.
So that would be like a semi-elite status, just being a guard on a white beach.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean white sand beach.
Yeah. Well.
But I mean the global elites are probably mostly white. No, not even really.
They're mostly it's an Anglo the global elite that makes up the cabal of people who are nefariously hand-wringing and trying to kill everyone.
Yeah.
They are a mixture of Jews and Anglos.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. So it would be people who are white and then appear white. So
gotcha. Okay. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's what it is for now.
Yeah, that's what it is for now. The cultures can change and evolve. I've said that before, right? To destroy a culture is very different from changing it. Okay?
Yeah.
And here's an example. This is an excerpt from The Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay.
Okay? A fox passing through the wood on business of his own stopped several minutes and sniffed. Hobbits, he thought. Well, what next? I've heard of strange doings in this land, but I have seldom heard of hobbits sleeping out of doors under a tree. 3 of them. There's something mighty queer about this. He was quite right, but he never found out any more about it. And that's it.
Tolkien is such a genius.
That's it. That's that part of the fox. That fox never returns. It's never. It's
No follow-up
just
on
in
him.
the middle of the book. He just drops that.
Yeah.
I will never write that good. You will never write that good. No one will ever write like that ever again.
Except in copying Tolkien.
Except in copying Tolkien. And even then, everyone will know spiritually that that is just a copy. It is an echo. The culture that birthed Tolkien's mind has been destroyed, not changed. It is gone forever, and it is never coming back. It is destroyed. The beauty, the elegance, the poetry, the intelligence, the power for innovation that came from Great Britain is gone forever, and it will never come back. If you go to London now, it is brown faces siphoning off whatever tiny bit of wealth is left. London is gone, destroyed. It is not London anymore. That is not right. That is not moral. That is not good. That is not what God wants. That is not what he designed. I'll take that back. I don't want to necessarily speak to as if I know what God wants. I'm not God.
Do you want to clarify brown faces at all?
I just mean...
Is that a judgment on the ethnic groups that have darker skin?
This is a difficult topic because the hatred that people have for the hatred that white people have, the static that you are seeing online in the culture right now for Indians, for Pakistanis, for Middle Easterners, for North Africans, for all these droves of people that are being brought here, that emotion that the natives feel for those invaders, that negative emotion will persist insofar as those invaders are being used as a weapon against the natives, which is what's happening. It's not necessarily the Indian guy's fault. Hating the Indian is the same thing as when there's a school shooting or some sort of mass casualty event and the left is going, it's the guns.
Right.
It's not the guns.
They're angry at the tool and ignoring what's behind it.
The Indians are being loaded onto planes by someone and brought here.
And told, here, we'll take you to a better life.
Right.
And they go, okay.
Yeah.
I would love to get out of here.
Yeah, and they're being made in England, or in the UK more broadly, they're being told if you get on a raft that you've assembled with beach towels and lawn chairs and you float up, which is literally what's happening in many cases, and you just float up here from North Africa or whatever, we'll come get you on the beach and give you thermal blankets and bring you to a nice hotel and you can stay there. And so the authorities in the UK they're the ones that are responsible for this.
Right.
So yes, I'm saying brown faces because it's visceral, and that is the method. That is the method of action, the tool for destruction. But the people that are doing it, I think it's Aristotle, maybe Plato, but who spells out what a tyrant is, like defines the word tyrant and goes into tyrant. I'm not smart enough to remember who exactly it was, but one of the Greek guys. And one of the motifs, one of the aspects, the themes of a tyrant is that the tyrant loves foreigners and hates his people.
Okay.
And the tyrant will bring in foreigners and philander with foreigners and give and take from the natives to give to foreigners because he can buy foreigners' loyalty, and they through their political will and their presence will give him power.
They're like mercenaries.
Yes, they're like mercenaries. They're like political, cultural mercenaries, and in some cases, literal mercenaries. And so, the foreigner, in a archetypical sense, is not inherently evil. I'm not making that assertion, and not many people really are. But the foreigner is a tool for evil, and that evil is the destruction of the nations that God has decided would exist.
It is Aristotle.
It's Aristotle?
In Politics, Book 5, Chapter 11, he explains the devices of tyranny, strategies tyrants use to hold on to power. One of them is that tyrants often prefer foreigners over native citizens because outsiders are less likely to challenge them and more dependent on the tyrant's favor. Quote, tyrants are fond of foreigners. They trust them more than citizens, for the citizens hate them, but the foreigners make no claim against them.
Exactly. So it's very important to understand that while it's reasonable when just recently, I think an Indian guy or a Pakistani guy, he was a Sikh or something, I don't know. Sikh is a religion, not a nationality. I understand that. But he was driving a semi-truck.
Okay.
And pulled an illegal U-turn on the highway, like I-20 up here, like that kind of highway.
Okay.
And brought his truck around into oncoming traffic so that several people hit the actual trailer, went under it, and died. So he killed 3 people doing it. The video of him standing there on the side of the road is pretty damning because he's just sitting there bug-eyed, totally, like, almost looks resentful, like pissed off that he's having to stop. And it's
like it's inconvenient to him.
It's inconvenient to him that these people, that he's caused these deaths. Some authority who I guess has him in custody now tested him, and he was unable to speak English and only was able to identify 1 of 4 of the highway road signs that he was shown. So he had no idea what the laws were.
Right.
What was going on, and he just killed 3 people.
What do you know? Chaos ensued.
One of them was a father. I think that fact check me on that.
Okay.
And when you see that, it's
regardless, 3 people were killed.
3 people died. Yeah.
Who had families?
Yeah, who had families, whether they were in charge of those families or
tragic regardless.
Tragic regardless, and they died pointlessly, and they would not have died if he was not here. And so it's easy to point at him and people like him and say, they are the problem. not necessarily the problem, because they are the problem, but this is the reason the problem is occurring, is because of him.
What I'm saying is they're saying they are the core problem.
Right, they're the core problem. And they're not the core problem.
They're a symptom of the problem.
And the symptom of the problem is that we're living under tyrants who want to rob you of your identity, who want to rob white people of their culture and their history and make them feel atomized and fragmented and ungrounded. They have no sense of place. They have no sense of identity. And that's important to them because you are then easier to manipulate, and you have no ability to rally and shove off this tyrant, because what are you going to rally around? You've been told for 100 years or for 20 years, or however long it's been, ever since I was in public school, told that white people don't have culture, don't have food, they don't have whatever, blah blah blah. They don't have any of this, and white culture has been largely erased using foreigners, and rap music and like country music is this like thing that's a joke and whatever, laughable, and everyone in the Civil War is evil. You just have this history of, you're taught that you have a history of just whites being evil, and thus white identity is evil and has to be destroyed, and
which is racist.
Which is racist, and also there's a very specific. I won't do it. I'll let it go. I just wanted the reaction. I don't even want to. I don't even actually have to say it now. You know where I'm going, so I get the reaction out of you before I have to say it. So I just don't even. Yeah. It's nice. It's like almost convenient for me.
Yeah. Well, 60 episodes plus will do that.
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah. It's very important for us to have this concept of like what an American is, so that we can point to the tyrants that are currently in power and say, that guy's not an American. Why is he here?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You need to get these non-Americans out. They need to go. And another thing that's important, the immigration in and of itself, non-Americans being here in and of itself, is not the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is the amount of people.
Sheer volume
of people that are here that don't need to be here. And that's a very significant issue. If it wasn't that way, if there weren't so many South Americans in Texas that white people were a minority, no one would care. You wouldn't hear anything about it. If there was 1/10 of the Mexicans that were here, or the South Americans that are here, first of all, if it was just Mexicans, if it was like the sheer volume of people and it was just Mexicans, you'd hear way less about it. Because Mexicans are very like if you go to like the boxing ring that I have, they have an American flag and they have a Mexican flag, but the Mexican flag is under the American flag on the wall.
Right. Which is as it should be. There's not supposed to be any flag.
Yeah, and they have a sense of like, I am Mexican or whatever. But you talk to like, they all, like the young guys even are like, no, like it's OG. It's like, it's old. They talk about old school.
Okay.
That's what they say all the time. Old school. He's old school. It's old school. My dad's old school. And the old school way of being is being like, we are Mexican, but we're in America.
Okay.
And eventually our children are going to forget Spanish.
Yeah.
And that's tragic and it's hard to deal with, but it's the reality of the situation if we want to be here.
Right. We moved here knowing that would happen.
Yeah. And that's
not trying to hold on to it for dear life.
Vast majority of Mexican culture.
And you're saying that's the right attitude.
That's the exact right attitude. Now, there's too many of them here, and if there were less, you'd hear even less about it. But if it was just Mexicans, like if it was not Guatemalans and Venezuelans and Portuguese guys or Brazilian guys speaking Portuguese, if it wasn't this just cornucopia of these like poor, desperate brown people coming here, and it was just Mexicans with a Mexican idea of the world, like a Mexican cultural idea of how things work, you would hear way less about it. There's also like, if you have Mexicans are like Italians. If you start speaking Spanish to a Mexican, they get zooted. They're so excited. And they have a very whatever. I'm gonna start glazing Mexicans, but It's just volume. It's just volume. And if there were less people, less foreigners here, then you wouldn't hear Nick Fuentes wouldn't have, which I like Nick Fuentes. I'm not saying he shouldn't have a platform, but Nick Fuentes would not be nearly as important culturally speaking if there were far less.
He wouldn't be necessary.
And part of that is because
I don't know enough about Nick Fuentes to say he's necessary. I'm not saying he's necessary. I'm just saying as a cultural response, that kind of person will inevitably. So I guess he wouldn't be inevitable. Is a better word than necessary.
Yeah, he wouldn't be inevitable.
Yeah,
and he is. If anything, he is inevitable. The part of the reason why the volume matters so much is because if you have 10 Mexican families and they come to a town, they might be able to organize to some extent a part of a neighborhood where they all live.
Right. A block that's pretty much all Mexican.
Yeah.
75%
of the whole city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone will think that that's funny. That's like a little thing that they have.
Drive
over there.
through Little Mexico.
Yeah. It's one street. Haha. Look at that.
The block parties are pretty wild.
Yeah. They've got Aztec clothes on. They're doing things, whatever. They're dancing, which is a thing that I've actually interacted with. A
lot of shiny cars there.
A lot of shiny cars with no wheels. A lot of that going on. Yeah. A lot of bandanas. And
some hydraulics tomfoolery.
Yep.
There's our title.
A lot of hydraulic tomfoolery. Yeah, there we go. That's good. A lot of spit roasting full animals that they just found somewhere, I guess. I don't know where they're getting these. At least out here.
No, they buy them off of enterprising rural whites.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but I don't.
My old boss used to sell goats. To Mexicans.
Okay, that's where they got it. Okay, that's where they're getting
They get them from white farmers and white rural guys who are like, oh, the Mexicans will buy this.
Yeah.
We'll raise this animal.
As a guy, I was raised in the country. I've seen it's totally like whatever. You got a barbecue, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen many people do that. But to be in the city, when I was in the city, living in the city, in a neighborhood, like a suburb of the city, or just dead smack in the middle of the city, and I turn your head and you look down the street and there's an army of Mexican guys and there's a full pig on a spit roasting. It's strange.
Yeah. Number of episodes ago, you made that reference, and it was not taken well on a couple of different occasions. I've heard about it.
It's what happens. Okay,
at least
I'm sorry.
Twice.
It is what happens. It's what they do.
No, but explain maybe flesh out a little bit your issue with that specifically.
There's when you go to a wedding, do you wear flip-flops? No. When you go to church, do you wear a hat? No. When you're in the middle of a city block where people are walking around enjoying their time, things are nice, things are clean, they're as they should be, are you blocking the street?
As they should be for that country and that culture.
Yeah, and it's also...
I'm just saying it's relative to whatever that culture is. It's not out of place.
For them.
And
it's also not out of place. It's not out of place if you go 45 minutes north. You have white guys and black guys out there doing barbecue and stuff
and it might not be out of place in Mexico,
right? But to do it in the middle of
saying, but the same thing. So you can flip that. So to anybody having an issue with your stance here, you can flip that. And if you as a white American go to Mexico, and in the middle of the city there's pigs being roasted on spits, and you go, ugh.
Yeah, and you start to chastise them.
Yeah.
First of all, they're going to beat you up. You're gonna get mugged.
You're gonna find out. You don't have free speech there.
Yeah, you're gonna get beaten up for being gay, and so the flip side is that if you want to come here, you can't bring Mexico here, you can't bring Venezuela here, you can't bring Nigeria here, you can't bring India here.
You can't do that in suburbia.
Has to stay there. India is in India. If what you want is India, if you want stinky curry and fingers and rice, go to India. Be in India. But in India, you can die of dysentery from breathing the air. So that's why you came here. Okay? So India stays in India. All right? You come here. When you come here, you shower. You have to buy a shirt and pants in at least 3 of them. You can't just have 1 of each. And if you're going to wear flip-flops,
and walk around naked on wash day.
Right, yes. Walk around naked on wash day. You have to clip your
toenails. What do you mean my clothes are being washed? What do you want me to do?
Yes, yeah. You can't, yeah. You can't walk. I mean, listen, we can go endlessly.
There we go. I put myself in the crossfire too.
Yeah, you made a joke.
I made a joke.
You can't. We could endlessly rag on other cultures for not being like ours, but that's not the point of what we're doing here.
The point is that you can't go to another culture and bring your past culture there and push it on them.
Right.
And say, this place is going to be the way I'm used to now. Even though I'm the one who made the decision to leave that.
Right.
Apparently for no reason. Because I'm just trying to recreate the same thing here. It's the same as don't California my Texas.
Right, exactly.
Do not move from a deep blue state and
then
come
start
out here
voting blue.
and go, well, now we just need to turn this into Los Angeles.
Right.
No.
Yeah, not at all.
Stay in California then.
Yeah.
If you loved it so much, that's your bed. You made it. Sleep in it.
Sleep in it. And so to wrap up the point about volume, if you have 10 families, they have a block, whatever. If you have 1,000 families, 10,000 families, and they have their own city within a city, all of a sudden it's way easier to continue speaking Spanish in the home.
Yeah.
It's way easier to never learn English. It's way easier to never have an Americanized accent. It's way easier to never go to an American school. You can go to entire schools that are just populations of one ethnic group that's a foreign ethnic group.
Yeah.
You never have to assimilate. If you come here and if you have people come here in small enough batches that they cannot cloister together and maintain some small version of their country in your country in perpetuity, then you are far more incentivizing assimilation. They're going to have to in 3 generations. I don't necessarily know that you should be an American citizen with voting rights in 3 generations, but you should at least sound like me. Like your great-grandchildren should sound like me.
I don't see any reason why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Unless there's a deliberate attempt to not make them.
Right, exactly. And so it just...
Which shows that your heart is not in actually putting that country first.
Right. Yeah, and it just...
You're just looking to get out of the immediate hot water and then start heating up the water wherever you now reside.
Right.
Which is dishonest and parasitic.
Yes, parasitic is exactly what it is. And so just to say that...
So it's not out of... Our position is not one of we don't care about people in need. Our position is we want to be able to help people in need, but we can't possibly do it all at once.
Yeah.
You can help the poor, but you cannot help everybody.
Right.
Just look at it on a family level. I mean, we're talking country level, but you as an individual, let's say you make $75,000 a year. If you gave $1 to 75,000 homeless people, you are not helping any of those homeless people, and you're dirt poor. You've given away every cent you've earned that year, and your family starves.
Right, exactly.
So take that to a country scale. You cannot do the same thing on a countrywide scale either.
Yeah.
No matter how much money you print, because that will eventually cave the whole country.
Yeah.
As we're seeing.
Yeah, as we're seeing. Yeah, and so you have to have the identity of who is American, because you need to have an American standard so that you can usher and you can be a good shepherd of that standard. It is going to have to change over the course of hundreds of years.
Yeah, it's a slow
burn. Yeah, slow burn, a slow evolution, and it takes a long time to try to do it. To try to change America in a generation is suicide, which is ultimately what they want. But
and by they you mean the global cabal of
the global cabal
truly evil people who know what they're doing.
Yes, who are very aware of what they're doing.
Not the poor brown people who are being used as tools.
Right. They're just
who are just trying to find food.
Who can blame them for coming here?
No, I wouldn't.
Right.
I'd do the same thing.
I do the same
If
thing.
I was Indian, I'd be right over here as soon as they said, "Give me a ticket."
Right. Yeah.
So this is please. If you come at us with saying you hate brown people, you haven't listened to the full episode.
Yeah.
You haven't actually taken the time to listen to what we're saying. It's dishonest if you are going to rave against us for that position.
Yeah.
But we very much want you to think about the ramifications for whatever reforms you do want to see.
Yeah. And so, and I think on that note, I do want to take a second to kind of bash some on our side of the aisle, because there's this notion that I've heard, that I've seen, that's not. I don't know if it's growing in popularity. It may just stay in the corners, but that it's
We're at an hour, by the way.
okay.
So
So that it's moral to hate these people.
moral to hate
Yeah.
brown people?
Yeah.
Or just hate immigrants?
Yeah, these people, they are people.
Okay.
They are people.
They are made in the image of God.
They are made in the image of God. It is not. It doesn't necessarily mean they need to be here.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that they need to be on our doorstep with their hands out, stinking up our malls, whatever. But it doesn't mean that we should hate them. It doesn't mean that we should feel negative feelings towards them. It means that we should long for them to seek to have Christ and to be saved. It means we should long for them to be in a better situation. We should pray for them often, and we should outstretch our hand where we can when it's appropriate. To hate them is evil. It's just as evil as it is to bring them here. Is just as evil to hate us. They're human beings.
Yeah, we are not saying we want to lock America down, kick out anybody who hasn't been here for 100 years, and then never reach out to anyone ever.
Right.
Right? Neither of us is saying that.
Right.
Okay.
So I will say that in order to, we have basically two options here, and I think it's kind of a molding of both is kind of the solution, which is to expel most of the foreigners that are here and then lock up and become very isolationist for some time to recoup and allow the assimilation for those that we don't kick out.
For the purpose of building up, strengthening, and building up wealth again.
Right. So that
we can
go
be
back out into
effective.
the world and effectively help.
I think the same goes for, I'll put this into the context
Oh.
of missions as well.
What? Okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just forgot this and I remembered it. If you're a left-leaning person, you're listening to this, you're taking some sort of qualm or issue with what we're saying. Let this maybe be an argument that you might hear. It is, you can think of this as being done for the sake of non-Americans. Bringing them here in droves like we have, you feel the racial animosity, you feel the tension rising, there will be violence.
Yeah.
There will be an increased level of bigotry. People will start acting out hostilely. They already do. It is going to get worse and worse and worse. The friction is going to rise like a shepherd's tone until there is like a race war.
Yeah, which is not what we want.
No one wants that. No one wants to see...
No, but there's a lot of unthinking people who reflexively go, this ain't America.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
The people you imagine talking like that.
Yeah.
The forever Trumpers and whoever else as a left-leaning person you may despise as a stereotype.
Yeah. Listen, this is maybe hard for you to hear, but you, as a left-leaning person, you have already asserted that the only thing that whites are good at, or that generally speaking, whites are these like very organized, indomitable, genocidal maniacs, whatever, throughout history. You are poking the bear. When you are bringing hordes of non-whites here, not teaching them the laws, not asking them to assimilate, not teaching them how to drive, and then putting them behind the wheels of 18-wheelers, and then putting this all in the news, and this is like this shepherd's tone of going up and up and up. The white man will learn to hate, and that will be a sorry day for everyone, for the white man, for the non-white man, for everyone. It's already bad enough. Is it not already bad enough? Are these people not already persecuted enough to satiate your emotions and your knee-jerk empathy that's thoughtless and cruel? To satiate that emotion, you would bring more here to be what? Bullied and beaten and bruised?
I think this is a really good time to reference the movie Borat.
Okay. Tell me about it. Tell me about yeah.
And it's been a long time since I've seen Borat. I'm not suggesting you go watch Borat. If you do, watch it with, trepidation and be careful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of offensive stuff in it. But the lesson you can take away from it is that Americans back at that time, what was that, in the early 2000s that came out?
Yeah.
Were incredibly tolerable.
Yeah.
They accepted what they were told was a foreign journalist from a third world country who just crapped on and stepped on the toes of every American social norm.
Yeah.
And he was not treated badly
At all.
They bent over backwards to be hospitable and kind to this person who was doing awful things, like bringing his own poop back down in a bag, acting like he didn't know where to put it.
Right.
Bringing it back down to like the dinner table of white people and going, "Where did I put this?"
Yeah.
Poking at them, and they reacted in such a, generally, at least the high class people. I think there were some instances where, there was definitely some racist people he interacted with, but I think by and large, people accepted him as just, we're going to be nice to this guy.
Yeah.
We're going to be nice to this foreigner who is just has no idea what he's doing here.
Yeah.
So I think to couch white people as the society of hateful bigots is ridiculous.
Yeah. And
at least me growing up in the 90s and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't
see that.
My question to you is, how much human misery do you have to see before your empathy will be satiated? And that's what I mean, your empathy. Your knee-jerk, evil need to feel good and not be bothered by the plight of people who have less than. How much human misery will you have to see before you will say to yourself, maybe if your argument is, if people would just put their differences aside, if white people would just not do whatever, if people would just
if you have a coexist bumper sticker.
Yeah, if your argument is, if people would just, full stop, not going to happen. If that's your argument, if people would just, you are now arguing against the very nature of human existence. If people would just. If people would just do that. Wrong. Not going to happen. Never, ever. People will not just. They will never just. They have never justed. They will never they're never gonna just. They are always gonna.
If they would just put aside
not gonna
their
happen.
Selfish ambitions.
Yes. And their desire, what do they want? If people were just okay with having trash in the streets, if people were just okay, listen, to an Indian man, is life that important? There's a billion of them. It's not bothered him that he killed 3 of them. There's a billion more in his head. If people would just accept that, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So just let it go. Well, there you go. Just let it go. You're not going to let it go. So I don't know. Walk into the ocean, I guess. I don't know what to do. Figure it out. But understand that you being on the side of the most elite people on the planet, wanting no borders and to bring every teeming mouth here so that they can be fed by a lesser and lesser and lesser share of rice. It's not. You are not solving anyone's problems. You are causing more problems than you're solving, because you're solving none and causing problems.
You are a one marshmallow kid.
Yeah, you are a one marshmallow kid. You are a low IQ.
If we can just divide this one marshmallow between a billion mouths, then we'll all be fed for 2 seconds.
Right, exactly, yes.
And then everyone has no marshmallows.
Yes, yeah.
And what a sad world that would be.
I saw a Instagram reel that was this guy laughing and being like, why are moms always, my son would never. Moms always say, my son would never. Like, Mama, all your son ever does is ever. He's the one. He's the instigator. He evers. That's it. It's all he ever does. People will never
His defining characteristic is ever.
Yeah, he will never. People will never just. They will never just. They will always gonna, and that's the way it's going to be.
It's fruitless idealism.
Yeah, fruitless idealism, and it's dangerous. So what is an American? We'll answer that real quick. What is an American? An American is someone whose family has been here long enough that they no longer remember the face. They never saw the face of the person who immigrated here. That person, an American, is a person who's Christian, who's usually white or black, who sounds like me, and whose family has been here long enough that they have invested, they have proven that they are investing in care about the nation. America is not an economic zone. It is not a series. It's not just America is not an idea. America is a place and a people that matter and that have a future. America is children. It is white children. It is black children. America is a nation. That is what America is. And in order to be an American, a part of that nation, you have to have an emotional investment that is so deep, even you don't fully understand it. You cannot come here and get a green card or pass a test and magically become American. That's not how it works. You don't get to just magically go to Japan, have a kid in Japan, have a white kid in Japan, and have that kid grow up and go around and fluent in Japanese, maybe doesn't even know English, walk around, have him ask people in Japanese, am I Japanese? See what the answer will be. He'll get seppuku'd. All right. It's when you have to commit suicide, ritual suicide. You stab yourself in the tummy.
Yeah. But I mean, you don't get suicided by other people.
I know, I'm just trying to be
Yes,
offensive.
I got it. Well done.
Thanks. He'll get hit with bamboo sticks.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Guys, we're at time. So listen, it's everybody knows what an American is.
We want your discussion though. If you have thoughts, post them thoughtfully. We'll respond to them.
Thoughtfully. If you want a response, post them thoughtfully. Guys, that's it. You know what an American is. I know what an American is. You now know why we can't have mass immigration. It's fine. Immigration is fine. I'm happy to have people, all right? But we got to have way less, like less than a tenth of what we've got going on now. And change has to occur gradually. If you bring in too many cultures too quickly, you'll destroy the culture that existed previously. And destruction and change are two different things. So changing a culture is fine. It has to happen over hundreds of years. If you do it in a generation or two, you'll destroy it and you'll rob the people that live in it currently of the lives that they had before.
And the people coming there. Yeah, you'll rob any chance that the people coming there will have any benefit from actually coming there. You'll cause race riots and friction and continued pain. You'll increase total misery and in exchange, no extra. And not so much race riots, just as, I mean, that's what it'll look like on the surface, but it's culture riots, really.
Yeah. And you may even not get to race riots.
Nobody cares about meeting an Indian person who sounds like us.
Right.
You're like, hey, American.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whatever.
If you meet an Indian guy who talks like us,
watches football.
The fact that he's Indian
and does sports betting, you're like, yeah, sounds like American.
Yeah, dude. If I meet an Indian that sounds like me and it's like, oh, dude, did you see?
Yeah,
whatever?
do you bat an eye?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, hello, fellow white. Like that's what I'm in my head. That's what I'm like, you know. So it is just important that we understand amongst ourselves who is who, why they are here, and whether or not that reasoning is good. And if it's bad, which it almost always is at this point right now in the narrative of American history, if it's bad, they need to leave. And I know that that's a dark and painful thing to understand, but it is the truth. They need to leave, and they do not need to come back. Okay? There is a very small percentage of people who should be allowed to come here, and
for reasons that apply to every country, not just America.
Yes. Thank you, Jason. So guys, nations exist. Ethnic groups exist. Everyone deserves a home. It cannot be robbed. It is immoral to rob them of that home.
And prosperity is impossible with the way we're going.
Yes. So vote for, I guess you can't really vote for anybody because there's nobody helping us. We're going to have to, I don't know.
It's grassroots. Spread this around.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to figure something out.
Grassroots is the only way to go.
Grassroots is the only way to go. Charles Carroll, the comedian, says about the Irish, I don't know if I would do what you're doing to the Irish, because they're really good at making bombs.
Golly.
Yeah, that's the. You're gonna get letter to the globalists, whatever. You don't want more Mangione type interactions. You don't want more Blackstone type interactions. You're gonna have to let the. You're gonna have to really take the foot off the gas, man, because people are getting pretty upset, and the most unhinged people who have nothing to lose will act accordingly. I don't condone that. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's not a Christian way to behave, but when you push people in mass too far, it is inevitable. Look at history.
Yeah. And you're not...
The masses will rise up
I
and
know
make hell for you.
I know you think you have a plane and I can go here and whatever, but that's not the way it works. It's never been the way it works, man. You got to get fuel to the plane. You have to have the people that are going to fly the plane. You are not... Robots are not going to replace it. It's not going to happen. I know you think in your head, you have the pride of thinking, we're going to do this.
We'll be the first.
We'll be the first. It's like the meme, the Arrested Development meme. Arrogant people always think that they can trick God or that they're going to be able to take the power of God, and they never do. But I will. That is you right now, dude. You are playing with a fire that is more powerful than anyone ever has existed, which is the masses. You are playing with that fire. You are going to get pulled from your home and scalped if you are not careful, man. You got to be careful.
And we don't want that to happen.
I don't want you to get pulled from your home and scalped.
We're not advocating that
here's what
CEOs get shot.
Yeah,
don't pull a Luigi. Anybody listening to this?
Yes, please do not.
We're not advocating
What you
that.
should do is if you're gonna do anything, you should go up to these people, find them in the street, and ask them to give their life to Christ. That's what you should be doing. Okay, that's what I want them to do. I want them to throw themselves on the ground, their face on the ground like a dog, and beg for mercy from the God that created them. Because that's what I do. That's what Jason does. That's what all right-minded people do. That's what I hope they do. But what's really, because people aren't gonna adjust, they're gonna.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get a stone to the side of the head trying to get in your car one night. Like, it's not gonna be good, man.
Yeah.
So
it's happened, and it'll happen more.
Yeah, it'll happen more and more.
It's just a sober warning, not a threat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, guys, we're out. We love you. Please, to the rank and file. Well, also to the elites. Please find a church.
Yeah, especially to the elites.
Yeah, especially to the elites.
We need more Christians in leadership.
Yeah, please, for the love of all that is holy on this planet. Find a church. Find a woman. Marry her.
And have some babies.
Catechize those babies. Raise them in the fear and admonition of the Lord. Guys, we will see you next week. Bye-bye.